I love being in the studio, I swear to God. Like, most don't know, boy. It's a lot of boy that just don't like being in the studio. I like being in the studio, like, yeah, about 2 in the morning.
Before Young NUDY dropped the song Zone 6, Air It Out, EA, Since When, and Loaded Baked Potato, which has over 4 million views and is also kind of making me hungry. Before Young NUDY worked with Juicy J, Lil Yachty, Future, Black, Offset, TK, and 21 Savage. Before Young NUDY had over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, 65K followers on SoundCloud, and over 500K on Instagram. Young NUDY is one of Zone 6's hottest new artists. With his unique blend of trap, occasional melody, and carefree flows, he's garnered respect as the next up out of Atlanta. But most recently, you might have seen the name Young NUDY in the news on Super Bowl day. And it wasn't only because he was performing in ATL for the big game weekend. 21 Savage was arrested by ICE, who claimed that he is actually a United Kingdom national, and ICE reports that his visa expired a year after entering the States legally at the age of 12. According to CBS Atlanta, NUDY was the original target of the arrest by federal agents who were conducting an operation surrounding him and other unnamed suspects. And the artist was arrested on unrelated charges after being pulled over along with 2 other associates. NUDY and 21 Savage are actually cousins. Complex reported, based on an associate of NUDY and Savage, that the 2 were actually in separate cars when they were pulled over, but no one is able to confirm much more about the case. At the time that this video is being recorded, no other information has been released about NUDY's arrest or what his current status is, but I just want to say before continuing on, that my prayers go to NUDY, 21, and both of their families. As much as the memes were flying online, this is people's lives, and I hope everything gets sorted out for all parties. I'm Canadian living in the States, so I know all about visa issues, and they're no joke. So prayers to 21, prayers to NUDY, and prayers to their families for real. NUDY has been gaining buzz for a long time and was on the list for our Before They Were Famous series, but since his name was in the news, I wanted to give you his whole story so you can better understand the man behind his songs and not just see him as a headline related to 21 Savage in this case. The 2 go way back though. I even found this very blurry video of Savage and NUDY performing together all the way back in 2015. What's up, good people out there in the world? I hope you're having one heck of a day, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're watching this. If you're new here and wondering where Michael is, my name is Jeremy Hecht and I'm doing weekly Before They Were Famous videos for this channel. And if you've been watching for a while, then you know I like to make some bad puns in most of my intros. But since this was one hectic week, I didn't have time to think of any. Anyways, today I'll be taking you through the life and career of Young NUDY prior to fame. In Michael's famous news video, he called the man Young NUDY, and you know what they say, when you've got something on your mind, it tends to come out through speech. But be sure to check out the full episode where he goes into more depth about the 21 Savage case and more. As for me, I've covered other newcomers like YNW Melly and Comethazine, so be sure to check those videos out after you finish watching this one if you like it. And as always, be sure to let me know who to cover next in the comments down below. But without any more talking, let's get into it.
Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Boom!
Young NUDY was born Quantavious Thomas on December 17, 1992 in Zone 6, Boulder Crest, Atlanta, Georgia. Zone 6 has produced some of the biggest names in hip-hop, including Gucci, who grew up in the same neighborhood as NUDY. NUDY's style has even been compared to Guap's before, but in an interview with Billboard, he says, "We're from the same hood, you know what I'm saying? But I don't feel like I rap like Gucci. I know some of my lingo might sound like his, but I don't feel like I rap like him. I just talk about the shit he used to talk about. The shit I talk about is all I knew where I'm from. I'm just talking about what's going on." NUDY was related to and grew up around some of the most talented ATL artists in the game. A couple guys who ended up being at the top of the rap game years later, and according to allmusic.com, he's not only cousins with 21 Savage, but also Offset, and that's gotta be one hell of a family reunion. NUDY grew up with his mom, but says he was closer with his grandmother, whose house he would always go over to as a kid. NUDY says she reminded him to be a good person because he wouldn't think about anything negative when he was around her. "My grandma got a good heart, so I be feeling like that's probably where I get my good heart from." Both of my grandmas, really. His nickname and his current rap name even came from his grandmother. His father didn't come into his life until he was 17, after NUDY's grandmother died. He says he still loves his dad and they occasionally hang out now, but they're more like friends than father and son. And Nudie says he's always been a lighthearted dude who likes to crack jokes around his close friends, but he's also naturally reserved and shy, and said it wasn't until he started rapping seriously that it forced himself to be more extroverted. He grew up listening to Cash Money and would always rap for fun, but didn't really take it very seriously as a kid. I don't remember when I started to make music, but I've been trying to play rap. You know, everybody tries to rap. I spit my first rap in my bed when I was listening to other people's shit and rapping over what they were rapping. I was a little ass boy then. In terms of hobbies, growing up he liked to draw, but when he was 14 years old, he was getting into trouble at school and getting into arguments with teachers, telling Fader, you know how some teachers look at you and like you're young, so they feel like they can raise their voice and boss up? I used to be the one that wouldn't let them do that to me. He says that his mom even held it down for him when teachers would call her. She would make excuses for his whereabouts and everything. When teachers used to call my house, I don't think my mom ever said anything, but that doesn't sound like Jeremy. He wouldn't do that. And then when I got home, she would tell me how disappointed she was in me. In 10th grade, he was kicked out of school after only attending classes for 2 months. And the only job he ever had was working at Target for about 5 weeks. He says he was always smoking on the job while pushing around the shopping carts, and to be honest, that sounds kind of fun. But he was fired after refusing to clean up someone's leftover number 2 in the bathroom. I guess he had enough of that shit, right? Anyways, he only got 2 paychecks from Target.
I think they called me like 2 days after I come back to that motherfucker. I came in, I already knew what was up. I'm like, damn, they just called me.
And with not much else going on at the time, he turned to the streets, unfortunately, to fill his time.
Worst thing I ever put my mom through is when I shot my little brother.
There was no follow-up question in that interview, so I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I can bet my mom would be pretty upset if I shot my little brother. He cites an uncle of his as a role model who taught him a moral code even when he was caught up in the streets. But at 19, an older head told him that he needed to focus on his music because he heard it and thought it was really good. He became somewhat of a mentor to Nudie and even paid for his studio time. But still, Nudie didn't see much future in rap and saw it more as a hobby. Everyone he knew was rapping and had at least one song, so he just thought he was like everybody else. But his work impressed super producer Pierre Bourne, yo Pierre, so much that Pierre would sneak Nudie into the studio after hours to work on tracks for his mixtape for free. The two met through Pierre's cousin Corey Moe in 2014, and at first Pierre was Nudie's engineer and worked to highlight his voice on tracks. Nudie didn't even know Pierre made beats until one day he was randomly playing some for him in the studio.
He disappeared for about a year, but I ain't seen his ass about a year, boy. I come back in the studio like, I got down there like, what the f*** Pierre at? He like, oh shit, you know, he done got down, went to another.
The first song the two recorded together was called Crack, which was released back in 2016. And he told Billboard, that's my boy, I love Pierre to death, man. The first time Nudie ever recorded a song, he was initially just in the studio hanging out with no intention to rap, and he actually fell asleep in the studio.
I was asleep.
You asleep?
Yeah. My folk done when I got down recording another nigga. And he went goddamn, I was in that sleep, I just came just to come.
His first music video dropped in 2014 for a song called Off the Head, along with the mixtape Paradise City. He really turned some heads though in 2015 when he was featured on 21 Savage's song Air It Out. At first, Nudie didn't even want to do the song with Savage, and after some resistance, they finally recorded the song, but Nudie was even more resistant to shoot the video. He recalls the incident to Fader, saying that 21 Savage called him a lame for not wanting to do the video, and I feel like being called a lame by 21 Savage hurts more than most people. Even the old heads around him told him he needed to do it. Finally, they shot the video and the song started to blow up, gaining over 48 million views on YouTube at the time of recording. It was after that song that he started making music full time because he knew he had a future in it. For those who think that Nudie only has fame because of his cousin, he told Billboard this: after I did Air It Out with Savage, people just started f***ing with me. But I built my own little lane in all this shit. Most rappers, they'll be up under a rapper. Instead of handling their business, they're just sitting there patiently waiting for another motherfucker to do something for them. That's not me. I got all my shit on my own, my cousin. Just on the music side, I don't ask him for anything. That's all you gotta do. If you want it, you gotta do it. He ended up liking the music video treatment so much that he shot some more. His video for 30 Hangout really instilled a new drive in him to keep rapping. But it was his video for Don't Beef that actually got him into some trouble with the law. He didn't realize how many eyes were on him at this time, and as a convicted felon who was on probation, having guns in a video can cause you some problems. Nudy was locked up, and when he got out, he was understandably hesitant to do any more music, since music is what got him locked up in the first place. So he decided he was finished. But he says that focusing more on the street stuff didn't work out either, because he was locked up again, this time for charges unrelated to a music video. He cites 2016 as one of the worst years of his life, getting locked up one more time before year end and right before his birthday in December. But it was also his 2016 mixtape Slimeball that garnered him some online buzz, and he began to build a true fan base. He told Complex that moment was his arrival. That's when he knew if it was gonna be for real or not with his music, and it was real. He also released the Pierre Bourne produced song First Day Out that year, and it now has over 1 million views for the audio alone and another million for the video. The buzz would take him out on the road as an opening act for 21 and Playboi Carti on each of their tours. He followed that up the next year with Slimeball 2, which had features from Juicy J and 21 Savage.
When my music went in up, like Shawty at the Blue just hit me, like, wow, I f with your shit. Feel me? So I'm like, damn, that nigga Juicy JJ hit me up.
He told Fader that the second installment was when he first started finding himself with his voice. And he kept flooding the market with music, dropping Nudy Land before the year was over, which featured Offset and Lil Yachty, and production from Pierre. He told XXL, I'm not even gonna front, that shit surprised me. I knew shit was gonna do something, but I didn't know Nudy Land was gonna do that. I really f with my fans, I love them. That same year, he appeared on the official remix to Tay-K's massive hit The Race, alongside Savage. Tay-K's manager Ezra reached out and asked Nudy to be on the official remix after he came to a show in Dallas and saw him perform. The song currently has more than 39 million streams on Spotify. Another huge release was Since When with 21 Savage, which now has over 7.5 million views on YouTube. He says that him and 21 are less like Batman and Robin, and more like Batman and Superman. Speaking of cartoons, Nudy is a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. The character Chucky has also played a huge part in the branding of his career, with all of the Slimeball covers and the Nudy Land cover having a reference to the horror movie doll. Chucky just reminds me of myself. Most motherfuckers think I picked Chucky because Savage had the Jason stuff going on, but I just picked him because I like him. Chucky is like me. He laughs at every damn thing, he doesn't get mad. Even when he is mad, he's smiling and shit, so I feel like him. He also says he is a big Grand Theft Auto fan, and you can pull up on him if you want, but beware.
Grand Theft Auto online, I'm on that bitch, PDE_Young NUDY. You pull up on me, you better pull up the right motherfucking way, you heard?
In 2018, he dropped off Slimeball 3, which included the remix to his song Zone 6, which also featured ATL's Finest, Black, and Future. Nudy has a daughter who he loves to spend time with and says this.
Chilling with my little girl.
How old is your little girl?
Huh?
How old is your little girl?
She 4. She
Oh, that's good.
She bad, that my chicken nigga.
Nudy isn't spending his money on too many crazy purchases, and he told Fader, I can get a Walmart shirt and make it look fresh, because it's not about that, it's about the person wearing the shit. Nudy says he wants a 10-year run with his music, but doesn't want his whole life being based off of strictly rapping. He says that his goals reach far beyond music and hopes to get his investments straight, and eventually wants to be in a gangster movie as an actor. He also wants to get more into directing and has started directing and coming up with ideas for how his music video should look.
I want to make me a movie though. It gonna be some gangster type shit, but not gangster. Feel what I'm saying? Like, it gonna be funny gangster. Everybody make movies, they should be just straight gangster and hard. Like, that shit play that, man.
His advice to the kids is to pray to God and
You better take care of school, goddamn, do some work, man. Be something. Do something with your life. That's about it. Tell you the truth.
As for the rest of the story, well, you know it because this is before they were famous. Once again, I just want to stress that Nudy and Savage are going through some real life shit, and I really do pray for both of them. I hope everything is sorted out and that these men can get back to their families as soon as possible and continue to make a positive impact in their communities. As for this video, that's it. I'm Jeremy Hecht. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let us know who to cover next in the comments down below, or hit me up on Instagram at Jeremy_Hecht. Dream good, live better. I hope you have one heck of a day, and I'll see you in the next video.